Are you an independent musician feeling overwhelmed by the endless act of juggling creativity, business, and self-care? You're not alone. That's why I created the Artist Mind Map. The Artist Mind Map is a free blueprint designed to help you get clear on the route you need to take to attain your career goals in alignment to your artistic values. This is not just another random PDF page for the forgotten corners of your hard disk. It's a timeless roadmap you can use for decades to come. Think of it as a go-to overview to consult. When you grab your free mind map, you get exclusive access to a masterclass that will take your career to the next level. I use the same methodologies and systems for my high-end paying clients and students. So why am I giving it to you for free? Simple. I want to build a community of artists who can count on each other for safe spaces. Music saved my life. I believe that you have all that it takes to be the artist you were meant to be, if you're willing to put in the work. And more importantly, understanding what that work is. And the Artist Mind Map was designed to help you do exactly that. So if this resonates with you, go to artistmindmap.com and download this resource. artistmindmap.com.
Hey fam, welcome back to Tapasya Loading. Today's episode is all about morning routines, and we've got a special guest solo cast from none other than Ryan Hurst of GMB Fitness. If you've been following my podcast for a while, you might remember Ryan from our conversation a few years back. He's someone I deeply respect, not just for his approach to fitness, but for his philosophy on movement, mindset, and living with intention. This recording is something Ryan actually sent me a while back when he was still based in Osaka, Japan, which is where I currently am at the moment on tour. It was originally shared only with my private community, my clients and students, but since I am in Osaka myself right now, I thought what better time to finally release it officially to all of you. Morning routines are all the rage these days. Everyone from CEOs to pro athletes swear by them. But you don't hear musicians or artists talking about them nearly as much. And honestly, I think that's a huge oversight. As creatives, our schedules can be chaotic, late nights, rehearsals, studio sessions, and travel. And having some kind of structured start to the day, whether it's movement, breathing, journaling, or just a few mindful minutes, can be a game changer for clarity, energy, and longevity in our work. Ryan, like me, takes a holistic approach to training, and his morning routine reflects that. It's not just about waking up and moving, it's about setting the right tone for the day, getting your mind in the right place, and building consistency over time. And that's something I think we can all benefit from, whether you're training, creating, or just trying to navigate a busy life. Personally, I've been following a morning routine for over 10 years now, I think, roughly. And what's wild is how similar it actually is to Ryan's, even before we ever met. Having a structured start to the day isn't about just being rigid or perfect with it. It's about creating a foundation that keeps you steady when things get hectic. And I can tell you, being on tour right now, bouncing between cities, dealing with shifting time zones, I think I changed 3-4 time zones in the past 3 weeks, deadlines and all the unpredictability of doing all of this as an artist, even while running a location-independent business, my morning routine is a lifesaver amidst all of this. Now, do I stick to it 100% every single day to the very last note of it all? No, I don't. But even having a loose structure in place helps me stay grounded amidst all the moving parts. If you're a traveling artist, a creative, or someone who just has a lot on their plate, or just someone trying to get a little more structure and flow into their day, I highly recommend you finding your own version of this. So, as you listen to Ryan's solocast, I encourage you to think beyond just fitness or just regular mindset stuff. Think about how these principles of routine and structure can actually apply to your own life and your own goals. By the way, before we go ahead, I do have a quick note. If you're a musician and want to build a routine that keeps your body as resilient as creativity, I do have a mobility course out for musicians. I don't advertise it as much. It's usually been used, till now anyway, only for my private clients and students, but I'm ready to go a little more public on this. Now, just to be clear, this is no competition to what Ryan does. He's the go-to guy for a deep dive into movement for people from all walks of life, no pun intended. My course, on the other hand, Movement Ritual for Musicians is what I call it, is designed specifically for touring and studio artists. It helps you stay loose and hopefully pain-free in the long run, backstage or in hotels, airports, studio situations, so you can keep doing what you love.
Welcome to another session solocast. These solocasts were designed to help independent artists and musicians like you navigate the very complex labyrinth that is your artistic practice and career. They're based on empirical research and experiences of my own career as an independent musician and an educator and coach working with artists just like you. The primary aim behind these sessions is to offer accessibility to the kind of education many of us need to work with in order to forward ourselves in these very confusing times as empowered and independent artists in the truest sense of the word.
All right, so I started getting into morning and evening rituals or routines many years ago. But to be honest, this year, especially from January, I really dialed in this routine and basically my entire day. So, kind of a rough idea what this looks like is, I wake up and hit the toilet, drink a glass of water. And then while I have a cup of coffee, I write in my journal and basically give gratitude and my thoughts on some things. Then after that, I head into the gym, which is my office, and I have a morning mobility routine that I pretty much do every single day. It's specifically tailored to my needs. I keep it the same. And the only thing that really changes when I'm doing that is, the intensity in terms of what do I need that day. So let's say, for example, that during one of the mobility movements that I do for my ankle, I might need a bit more time on that, or I might go a little bit deeper into the particular stretch that I'm doing. But that's pretty much set. And then immediately after that, I go into my breathing exercises. It lasts about 5 minutes. And then after that, I do my morning meditation. So meditation is something I've been involved with ever since I came to Japan, 28 years ago or so. And meditation for me is just I sit quietly, no noise, no nothing, just sit and do my meditation. And for me, I don't chant, I don't do anything like that. I sit and I just try to clear my mind. I think of things as, looking at a highway from the side of a hill, and the thoughts are the cars, and the cars as they go by. I just don't try and focus on that. I just let them go by and I let them pass. And so just try and sit. And I used to do a whole bunch of different kinds of meditation, but again, right now I just find that for me it's just easier for me to just sit and try and relax my mind. So benefits for this for me, that's in the morning, but it's just to start my day off right. And I found that when I do that, things work well. Now, I will say there are days where I don't do my morning routine, but that's fine. And for me, I don't get stressed out if I don't do it. And so pretty much with everything in my life, I'm trying to look at, like that 80%. If I can hit things at least 80%, then I think we're good and stick with that. Just like I do with my nutrition, I have a specific way that I enjoy eating that works really well for me. And, I do that about 80%. And then the rest of the time, or not the rest of the time, but like other times, if I'm with my family and, they want to eat pizza or, we have tacos or something like that, then hey, it's totally cool. Whatever. It's all good. But the thing is I'm pretty chill about that sort of thing. And that comes back to having a routine and feeling that I have a bit of control over my life. so that when there are things in my life that I don't have control over, I don't freak out or it doesn't bother me. So that's really where this routine comes into play, and my rituals, that I know that I can do that as much as I can. And that is allowing me to clear my mind, to focus on the things that I need. It's my time for doing that. And, throughout the day, I do my work. And then in the evening, I have, I wouldn't necessarily say like a ritual so much as just, there's certain things I don't do. And that is, I don't watch TV in the evenings. I'm really trying to focus on setting myself up so that I can sleep well. So, I don't want to watch TV and, a lot of blue light happening and going on there. I stay off my phone. I like to read. That's my thing. I live in Japan. We take a bath in the evening. I take a really hot bath, and then I finish up with a very, very, very cold shower. Some people would say, hey, that's not actually what you want to do. You want to make sure that, you do that cold shower in the morning, because if you take a cold shower at night, you're not going to sleep very well and get into a deep sleep. But hey, you know what? Works for me. I don't have a problem with it. I take that cold shower. Then afterwards, I read. Then I go to bed relatively early and end up falling asleep like 30 minutes after I start reading, and sleep until I wake up in the morning. And so that's really it. Moving on here, preventing injury while working out and practicing martial arts. For me, really, preventing injuries, things like that, it's first and foremost figuring out why you're doing this thing, and then being true to yourself. What I mean by that is, don't do something stupid if you can keep from doing it. There are times in my life where I've done some stupid stuff and look back and I don't regret it, because it was a learning experience. Like things like when I was skateboarding, I was on a half pipe and I broke my ankle, and, I could have made better decisions at the time, but, I learned from it. And so this is where I am right now in my life. And that is like when I am working out, or especially with martial arts, I choose who I practice with in my martial art. So nowadays, I don't just randomly go into a gym or a dojo and spar with anyone. I am careful about who I practice with. And part of the reason for that is that it's my journey, it's my body, and I need to be responsible for that. And just because somebody, maybe wants to go super hard and spar with me, doesn't mean that I need to say yes. And so thinking about it that way takes a lot of the stress off of things. I don't compete anymore. And again, this is my journey. It's not your journey. And so I'm not going to let you determine how I do things. And so this keeps me, at the moment at least, hopefully, from not only just preventing injury, but also keeping me to enjoy what's going on. Do I ever feel that music and martial arts have common things in the philosophies? Yes, of course. Of course. There's timing. There's rhythm. There is, harmony. I mean, there's so much in there that can be related. And so, for example, even in learning something, you're not just going to jump in and be able to play a new song, even though you might know the chords, even though you might be familiar with parts of it. As a whole, you're not going to be able to perform that. And so similarly, like when you're drilling a new technique, a new pattern of movements, it's just the same as music. You're only taking patterns and putting those together, but you need to look at those individual parts and really focus on getting good at those before you can even hope to think of putting those together and making it flow. And so as well, it's not just a matter of just being able to play it, but play it while under pressure. But you can't just throw yourself into the deep end. There's incremental progression where you slowly work on being able to do it at a faster speed, giving yourself a little bit of pressure in, for example, maybe, playing with another person. Okay. And I'm talking about if you play guitar, trying to match the drummer's tempo, and hopefully they're, on tempo. But the thing is there's that pressure, if you will, of actually being with another person. And we all feel this. And so it's similar to like when you're working out by yourself. It's going to be different from when you're working out in a gym where there's other people around you. We just feel that. And I think it can be a good thing is what I'm just trying to say, is that we do need to step away from things that are super comfortable for us and further challenge ourselves in order to improve. And I think this is where music and martial art have a lot in common. And looking at first, getting, your scales down, and that could be, just basically the basics, and then gradually working on, putting those together, looking at different patterns, looking at tempos, speeding it up, slowing it down, looking then again, okay, where are we still having trouble? Taking that part, making that better, and then put it back in there, and then challenging yourself by working with other people in order to test and see if you really do have it down for. In terms of what we need to watch out for is we need to watch out for ego getting in the way of everything. And so, give yourself time. Understand that you're not going to probably be able to just nail it straight out of the box, and knowing that actually gives you that freedom just to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to stick with this, whether it be a particular chord pattern, a single song, and just really giving yourself the opportunity to learn it well, without the pressure in the beginning of thinking you should be able to do it perfectly. So, my take on turning 40 and 50, and what are some of the myths surrounding it? What are the realities of it? Well, 40 is a big thing for people in their life. It was for me. And I remember looking at 40. Still have a photo of me on my 40th birthday, and I actually did 40 backflips on my 40th birthday. And for me, it was great. I kind of started to feel like I started to understand a little bit of the stuff that was going on, in the sense that things started to get comfortable for me. And by comfortable, I don't mean easy. I started to actually feel like I could start to teach some of this stuff, if you will. I know that might sound funny because I've been teaching since, my early 20s, but it's just one of those things where you have more confidence, and it's not about being cocky. It's really the confidence comes through experience of teaching a lot. And that 40 for me felt good. 50, I'll be 50 this year. 50 is really interesting. I feel better. I actually think I look better as well than I quite possibly ever have. And I think a big part of that is I'm just so comfortable in my own skin now that, to me, I'm just so over trying to think I need to be bigger, stronger, faster, or any of that. And I'm actually just happy where I am. And it doesn't mean that I have stopped wanting to improve. I'm still trying to improve, but improvement to me isn't about getting more. It's actually about looking at the stuff that I really want to be doing and getting rid of a lot of the stuff that I don't want to be doing so that I can focus on the things that I want to do. And that's where I can make these little improvements to that. And, for example, my martial arts, a great example. There's a lot of techniques that I've done over the years and learned over the years. But the older I get, the more refined my game has become, so that I find that, moving towards less, if you will, of certain movements and coming back to movements that work really well for me because I understand that these really match my body. And so I'm able to train more and do it in a way where I'm not sore like I used to be, because I'm not actually putting myself in positions that maybe aren't good for me like I would before. This has to do with my exercise as well. There's certain movements where I just don't feel the need to do anymore. And, other people are like, why don't you do that anymore? Because I don't want to. As you get older, you can decide, you just be like, you know what? I'm cool not doing that. And it's great. And so, everybody's like, oh, I'm getting old and everything. Yeah, we're getting old. That's great. But the thing is hopefully you're getting wiser. And again, it's cool for me because you feel confident in the sense that you know who you are. And saying no to things is so much easier. And you do it in a way where the other person too is just kind of like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. And, I like it. So, much more in there. And again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't continue to improve, but I think the fact of the matter is the older you get, you do realize that you don't want to waste your time. And that's why you are very particular with your time. This is why I have my routines. This is why I block out, sections of my day for work, for, family. I shut off, from work, and I just want to go and hang out with my family. And there's not so much of a hustle anymore to try and cram everything in. It's really focused on what's important to me, whether it be work, martial arts, exercise, learning the language, and really honing in on just getting good at that particular thing that I want to do and enjoying it so much. And I think really that's what it's after. That's what I'm after. Do I wish I had done that earlier on in my life? No, I think it's still great because, I really tried to do as much as I could. I've done a lot. And looking back at my life, I've done a lot. I'm coming to Japan, learning all these different things and putting myself out there and it's great. But again, like I said, been there, done that. Now I really know the things that I just want to continue to focus on. And I'm very happy with letting go of some of those other things, because it's created a freedom for me, and peace of mind. And I think that really that's what I'm most proud of. I think for myself is being able to let go and, work towards this peace of mind and being happy about it.
All right, that's a wrap. Huge thanks to Ryan for sharing his wisdom and, of course, waiting this long for me to actually officially release this to the rest of the world. And big thanks to you as well for showing up and tuning in. Hopefully you got some inspiration to refine your own morning routine, whether that means movement, mindfulness, or just carving out a little structure to start your day with intention. If you enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe, share it with someone who could use it, hit me up with your thoughts. You know where to find me, my website, findtl.com or holisticmusicianacademy.com, socials, comments, wherever you're listening. And hey, if you're a musician looking to stay loose, strong, and pain-free while you create, consider checking out my mobility course for musicians. I call it the Movement Ritual. It's not about competing with Ryan teaches. Again, just to reiterate, he's got the big picture movement game on lock. My course is a much more condensed version, specifically designed for the realities of touring and studio life, so you can keep your body working as well as your music. All right, hope that helps.
Hey folks, I hope you found that episode helpful. Here's a little request. If you did, consider sharing this episode with your folks. Think about the ways in which they might benefit the way you did. And please don't ever hesitate to reach out if you have queries. My name's TL. I'm an independent musician and educator and the founder of the Holistic Musician Academy.